Let's bring in national security expert Jason Beardsley. He's a national executive director with the Association of the U.S. Navy. The Russian onslaught seems to have stalled, Jason. Would you agree? And if so, what's the reason for that? And what does Ukraine do in response?
Well, John, I think those are great questions. I think we've watched them stall really from the beginning. What was supposed to be a quick 48-hour decapitation of Zelensky's government really turned into a long logistics supply chain, 4 or 5 multiple axes of attack that stretched out the Russian lines. We saw soldiers that were underperforming. We saw equipment that was failing, tires that were cracking, the mud that kind of festers there, that slows down the tanks. All of these suggest that this was not a well-planned, well-thought-out attack. And it must be pointed out and remembered that Vladimir Putin is an FSB KGB agent. He is a spy. He's not a combatant commander. He doesn't know warfare. And warfare is very difficult. So the theory that he was going to go in and roll these cities with 4 million people in it, that's a hard task to do. The United States, 20 years in Iraq and Afghanistan, we had our own challenges. So this was overestimation by large. And then let's not forget, the Ukrainians have been fierce in resistance. They've been phenomenal fighters, and their guerrilla warfare tactics have turned this occasion around.
I want to play for you or read to you a tweet from a member of the Ukrainian parliament who heard President Biden's speech today in Poland, a speech that was very strong, very well received to the Western world. Here's what Parliament member Ina Sosin wrote. She says, "I'll be blunt. I did not hear a single word from POTUS that would make me, as a Ukrainian, feel reassured that the West will help us do more than doing right now, which is not enough. I am happy he reassured Poland, but the bombs are exploding in Kyiv and Kharkiv, not in Warsaw." Yeah, it was a well-received speech in Poland and probably throughout the United States. But Ukrainians are asking for more.
Right. The Ukrainians have the task of fighting this out on the ground. So no matter how great the oratory or the speech was, they're still feeling the pain of their cities being bombarded. And what they've asked for from the beginning, they've continued to ask for. But let's not forget the U.S. and Western countries have done a really good job of getting lethal munitions, stingers, javelins, TOWs. And don't forget the intelligence that has allowed the Ukrainians to target and decapitate Russian military commanders. Vladimir Putin is losing his generals in the battlefield at a rate of 2 and 3 per week. That's horrifying if you're running a campaign, particularly how the Russians run their warfare. So I take the point of the Ukrainians. The brave resistance on the ground is always tougher. The United States has done a lot, and President Biden, to his credit, has been very clear that he's not going to put U.S. troops involved. And I personally know what that means to me is until we articulate a really clear objective, he's done the thing to keep us out of another engagement. We saw the result of what happens with 20 years in Iraq and Afghanistan without clear objectives. That's hard on the American soldier. So I appreciate that, but I think he needs to be clear now about what it is we can do to amplify or ramp up support, because the Ukrainians need that now.
Very quickly, is there anything Ukraine can do about these artillery pieces that are raining so much havoc on their cities?
Well, if I was in Zelensky's ears, what I would say is mass attack on those artillery pieces, particularly in Mariupol and in Chernihiv. If you can break those sieges apart, he's got remote control drones that'll blow up. He's got stingers. He's got javelin. It's time to get those things in action and be inventive, be creative, because if you don't break those sieges, he's going to continue that from city after city after city. So right now is the time. Let's hope they get creative in the next week or so.
Yeah, it's a scorched earth policy by the Russians, it seems. Jason Beardsley, it's good to have you on. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.